I remember in Holmes County last time, I saw a woman, like she was riding a bicycle and she was going uphill and she was just flying uphill. I was like, that does not look natural. Today, I'm going to tell you where do Amish ride bicycles and in what places they use scooters, why they may use one in one community and one in the other. And I'm also going to give you a couple examples of some unusual bicycles you might see in Amish communities. Bicycles are common in places like some of the more progressive, larger Amish communities like northern Indiana, that's Elkhart, LaGrange counties, or Napanee, Holmes County, Ohio, Arthur, Illinois. You're going to see Amish using the bicycles to ride to their work. For example, in northern Indiana, you see Amishmen riding bicycles to the RV factories, which were a common type of work there for the Amish. You're going to see Amish riding bicycles for leisure, for other purposes. But in other places, you're going to see the scooter. These are the very kind of iconic scooters. They're colorful. They're very kind of simple design. They've got a basket on the front. You stand on them, you kick, you go. They are definitely more difficult to use than a bicycle, and you can't go as far or as fast, of course. So in some way, they're more limiting. Places you'll see the scooter include Lancaster County is the most famous example, let's say. Allen County, Indiana, among the Swiss Amish community there. Geauga County, Ohio. Dover, Delaware. So why the scooter in some communities and the bicycle in others? Well, we don't exactly have a definitive answer as to why, as with many things related to the Amish. Why do the Amish wear this type of clothes and not that type of clothes? Why do the Amish do this and not that? The Amish themselves often don't know why a certain custom or tradition developed. However, there are some ideas as to why the scooter is seen in some communities. So Stephen Nolt of the Young Center at Elizabethtown College, he was asked the question, why do Amish use scooters in some places, by Lancaster Online. He gave 3 reasons why this may have been the case. The first thing is that bicycles were actually very expensive when first introduced. When the bicycle was released in 1878, it cost $125. That would equal about $3,355 in today's money. So that gives you an idea how expensive this, the simple form of transportation we take for granted today is. That was something that would deter Amish from adopting a bicycle. Another thing, at that time, bicycles were not the most necessarily practical form of transportation, especially when many rural roads were not paved. Stephen Nolt says that Amish churches decided that they were impractical, so they were not adopted at that time. Once you've got a precedent, he explained, it's difficult to change once that's kind of in your culture and in your community. So you see, like in Lancaster County, over time, more of the roads were paved. As that happened, scooters became an accepted form of transportation. Bicycles were already kind of considered maybe seen as expensive and practical, maybe a little worldly. Sometimes in Amish society, a type of technology becomes associated with the more progressive neighboring church. By adopting that technology, it would almost be seen as a symbol of going more in that direction. So sometimes you see very simple things like the scooter and the bicycle can become kind of a touch point or almost symbolic of change. So if we adopt a bicycle, does that indicate that we as a community are becoming more like the world? You see pieces of technology almost get stuck, or customs get stuck for their symbolic power and value. So the scooter, you've seen this, it comes in several colors. There's like a bright kind of a blue, a red, a green. You'll see some in kind of hot pink and yellow as well. Amish tend to use more of those kind of more basic colors, but they do make those kind of more non-standard colors. Scooters are popular with non-Amish as well. People often want to know how to buy an Amish scooter. There are some manufacturers in Lancaster County. There's at least a couple there. Grafdale, I believe, Machine Shop is one of them. I met an Amish scooter maker when I was living in this community and working, selling books there in 2007. And he took me into his operation where he had all of his production facility. All the scooter frames were lined up. He had blue, he had red, he had green, he even had some pink in there. The scooter is used by Amish children and by Amish adults. So it's a type of transportation that is common for both. It kind of, maybe we think of it as more of a kid's thing, but it's definitely used by adults. For example, one of my Amish friends, his home is in one part of his area, and then his land that he farms, that he does produce on, is, I don't know, half a mile or quarter mile away. And just to zip between a house and the lane, he takes a scooter off it and just goes up and down the road. You're not going to go that far in a scooter. You know, I've tried riding these scooters before. They're not super, I don't know, they're not super comfortable if you're used to riding a bicycle. A bicycle has gears, it has comfortable seats, you know, it's ergonomic. Everything is kind of designed for comfort with the bicycle and for traveling longer distances. Push scooter sits really low to the ground. So if you are going over gravel, then you'll hit rocks and things. You know, there's a brake on there. I didn't test it very intensely, so I don't know how effective it is when you're flying downhill. So Amish and other communities have adopted the bicycle. You may see some unusual styles of bicycles in some communities. One example is the recumbent bicycle. This is the bicycle where you're not sitting straight up like this, but it's designed in a very kind of elongated way, and you're actually sort of almost laying back, and you're almost sitting almost like you're reclining on a beach chair and pedaling the gears in that way. You may see that in northern Indiana, in Arthur, Illinois. I believe I even met an Amish maker of recumbent bicycles I think it was in Indiana, that actually builds these. You can have a basket on the back and have your lunch box, so you can just cruise to work with your lunch there. Another type of bicycle that's more controversial among the Amish, but that's gotten really popular in at least one community that I know of, is the e-bicycle. And the e-bicycle is a bicycle that's powered by a little motor. And this is a bicycle that you can use to increase your speed or ride a lot faster than you normally would with a standard bicycle. In Holmes County, Ohio, this has become a pretty popular type of bicycle in some parts of the community. There are at least a couple of e-bike shops. I went into one of them owned by Amish. You can buy all these pretty fancy models. I think some of them are $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, kind of in that range. So they're not cheap, but you know, if you've been to Holmes County, Ohio, you can see the appeal of an e-bike because the terrain there is very hilly. It's funny, you'll notice if someone's riding an e-bike, like if you'll see, I remember in Holmes County last time, I saw a woman, like she was riding a bicycle and she was going uphill and she was just flying uphill. I was like, that does not look natural. She was just cruising. Like you wouldn't be able to go that fast in a regular, gear or mountain bike or whatever. You can even tell from a distance if someone's riding an e-bike, but up close, there's like a little motor that fits. You can actually get an e-bike kit to adapt a standard bicycle. There's like a motor that attaches to the frame and kind of a thing that goes on the back to turn the wheel. Or you can buy just a custom e-bike that's designed as an e-bike. So this is, as you might guess, not accepted by all Amish. It's using something with a motor, bringing it closer in the direction of something like a motorcycle or a car, right? You're not relying on your own human power to transport yourself or horsepower, but upon a piece of technology, upon a motor. So it's been under discussion in this community. We'll see if 5 years from now e-bikes are still a thing in Holmes County or if it's just limited to some churches. Holmes County is a very diverse settlement, so you have everything from the very plainest Amish all the way to the most really progressive Amish. So talking about Amish and transportation, another type of transport that we may not connect with the Amish immediately is air travel, planes, flying. Can the Amish fly? Do the Amish fly? I did a video on that. Check that out. I think you'll enjoy it. I'll give you the teaser here. The answer is no, they don't fly on planes, but there are a couple exceptions to that I talk about in the video, so check that out. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, leave us a comment. I'll see you next time.